What up, though? It's your boy Willie Stylez in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Chevy, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I was gonna say hello world, and then hello every world came out.
Oh, that's okay.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I can't talk today.
Right. What up, though? We are in the building. We are getting ready for tonight's show. We have not a lot, actually. I thought about it. I was like, there wasn't a lot that happened. So
no, not at all.
So we're gonna have probably. I would think we still have a very in-depth show, but it's not going to be as long as the other shows because there's not a lot of scenes to cut through. There's just enough to kind of wet our teeth on a lot of the kind of the precursors to the rest of Phase 4 of the MCU. So welcome to tonight's show. We are going to be talking about Marvel's Loki, and let me get hyped up a little bit more. I sound real calm and
I'm excited. I am really excited. I rewatched the episode, and it was actually at first when I first watched it, I was like, this is a lot of talking. But after rewatching it, I said, wow, this is a really good episode. This is really, really, really good episode.
Yeah. I was the same way. I was, even though it was, for me, soon as I saw my man's on the screen,
you went crazy. You was like,
ah! But I was also like you said, I was also like, dang, it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of, a lot of stuff going on here. And, I was immediately kind of feeling for the other viewers right out there who are either not aware of who he was or what version of him he was, that kind of thing. So there was a lot there, right? So yeah, we're gonna get into all of that. What up, though, Sonny? Appreciate you
Sonny.
In. So, like you said, I think overall as an episode, there was for me that big aha moment, that big reveal, but also the other big reveal at the end. There's so much happening in the episode as a whole. I definitely gave it a strong 8 rating, even though it wasn't the most exciting, it wasn't the most action-packed, it definitely wasn't full of as many quantity of reveals, but the quality of the reveal was everything. There's still a few questions that were still out there. Some of the theories that we had or some of the questions that we had, I don't think got answered by the end, but I think either they're just not going to be answered or they may be answered in the future. So I think that it's one of those things where we're pressed for time, right? So I'm sure they can't stick everything in there and get everything 100% answered. So what did you give the episode?
After rewatching it, I actually would give it a 9. I think it was very informative, but also explained to people like me who don't know the history of it all in a way where you can feel like you're still a part of what they're trying to create. So after watching, and not only that, from an emotional standpoint, it was really amazing episode. Like the things that I picked up on watching it the second time made me have to give it a strong 9.
Okay. I feel that. Yeah, I think the last episode, I think we both gave like a 6 or a 7. I said I gave the first couple of episodes like a 7 and a 6, just because there was limited action, a lot of talking, but it was good episodes. It was good meaty episodes. Nothing better than what we saw, in some of the episodes of WandaVision or a couple of the episodes in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but right up there, right? So I think that's telling when we both give it high scores like this, saying, you know what, this is the episode, right? This is the one we've been waiting for. None of that switcheroo crap that we got with WandaVision. No.
Even what we got with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it was just a conglomerate of just Oh, now y'all trying to bring everything together because it's the last episode.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I was trying to figure out how to say that. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. On top of the fact we kind of already knew the ending, right? We already knew Falcon was going to become Captain America, right? So it wasn't like it was a big shock. There was no shock. There was no, I mean, even the suit I thought was not really a big, huge thing.
That's because
we were so
everybody
excited
leaked
to see
it.
but it was like, yeah, exactly.
It was leaked. I think I take my hat off to Marvel for that last episode because they did a good job of keeping that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keeping that and making us believe after the first 2 series that they weren't going to ever reveal a big bad in a show.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, indeed. And so that's huge. That was one of the biggest things that was like mind-blowing, as well as not only revealing, but letting him have his stage, right? So I think that's another reason I gave it an 8, because I was like, I expected it to be a kind of not an afterthought, but more of like an end credit scene situation where it'd be like bloop, even though technically it was an end credit scene situation, but you know what I mean? Like as a whole, like I didn't expect to see him at all, or if we did, it would be like an end credit scene, or it would maybe just be a picture somewhere, like somebody be walking by, you'd be like, oh shoot, But yeah, that was huge. That was huge. So
I think it was a good idea for them to do that, because I feel like you really didn't get to humanize Thanos until he was getting his head chopped off, really. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's good to know the drive of a version, at least, of the person who is going to be our enemy for so long, because Thanos just came in beating up people, and then he want to talk about his mission, and it's like, F your mission, man, you just killed my favorite character.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's good to know the motivation behind why that he was doing the thing that he was doing, and to know that the next time we see him, it's not going to be a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be that. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know that this is the probably nicest version of this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Not only the nicest version, the most experienced version, as well as he gave us a full rundown, versus whoever we're going to meet in the future is not going to be so accommodating.
It's going to be you're killing me, why are you doing this? Oh, I'll tell you why I'm doing this, but I'm gonna beat your face in while I'm doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get right to it. Episode 6, it's called For All Time Always. We know that that's the motto of the TVA, but it's also a very telling kind of preview of what He Who Remains ends up telling Loki and Sylvie all about. So So the episode began with basically the new, or not, I won't say the new, but it was a new version of the logo, the sound behind it, but it started off with those galaxies splitting, and showing kind of like the formation, and then the explosion, and then it's splitting off into the other universe, right? So the audio in that was breaking down a bunch of different scenes from various Marvel movies, so that was kind of dope.
Yes, it was, and moments in history as well.
Exactly, and moments in history as well. So I thought that was quite dope. We heard everything from the dance music from Cap and Peggy, which was also, I think, a theme, or it's one of the songs from the original movie.
Yeah, did the friend from work? Didn't they do that?
Yeah, they did the friend from work audio from Thor Ragnarok. They did the audio from what's her name, Black Widow, getting the phone call from Coulson. They did the audio from the Guardians of the Galaxy, the dance-off battle. So there was a lot of different audio.
And Maya Angelou's Still I Rise. I heard that in there too.
Yes, yes. In the historical archive, there was the Still I Rise speech. There was the Man on the Moon speech, or the Man on the Moon sound bite. There was another good one too in there. Was it something from Obama or something? Or
I don't know.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Go back, listen to it. Awesome little sound bites. So it pulls us, and then we get to see the time stream as it passes through the Citadel of Power, and there was like this structure of looks like a destroyed world. We never got a real explanation of what that was, but the castle was sitting there, the actual Citadel itself. We can see the time stream. We can see them walking up, and I was cracking up because when we talked about the walk up,
like what are they even walking on?
Exactly.
And still, what were they even? I saw a path though.
It was a path. Right?
It was a little raggedy path, but it was a path.
Exactly. So so we got to see that. I was cracking up about that. We also got to see, what was it? I take that back. So during that walk, and then when they got to the door, they basically talked about what they were going to do, or not even talked about it. They kind of just gave each other the look, like, what's next? We've come so far. We're going to make it through this door. I know when I was watching that, at first I was kind of like, okay, let's just go in. Second watch, like you said, contemplating more about what was happening there. And I think for Sylvie, it was just that not relief, but just like that. Okay, this is what I've been destined to do. This is what I've been waiting for. It's been 800 years, 900 years, and now I'm about to finally get to see who did this to me. And so it kind of hit me that way.
Right, but just the whole wait part, because it comes back around later. So
yeah, exactly. So so they opened the doors. We get to see Miss Minutes.
No. But did it scare you? Did you? Was you like, oh?
Oh, like, when they opened and then they closed behind them.
No, and then she just popped out like Miss Minutes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I forgot all about that. Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't say it scared me, but it definitely. I was not ready for that. Like, what the heck? Like, where did she just come from? Especially because we weren't expecting to see her there, right? That was.
I loved and hated her so much. I loved Miss Minutes and her little facial expressions when she was getting like, and
exactly,
and rolling her eyes. I said, look at that. Oh my God. They done made this clock the whole character. Yes, she literally was. Like, the second time watching that, I could not stop laughing because she is a trip. Miss Minutes is a trip.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was straight crazy. So yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that. The conversation though was even more unexpected because she started talking about what, first mentioning that they were finally there, that they were going to finally meet He Who Remains, which as soon as she said He Who Remains, I was already going nuts. Like, oh my God. Like, that for me, because I knew who he, I know who He Who Remains is. So I was already kind of going nuts. Now, I still wasn't prepared for who I saw playing He Who Remains, but I'll talk about that in a second. So they they go or they talk to her, and she offers them the opportunity to get back into the timeline. Mm-hmm. What did you think was going to happen at that point when she said all that?
No, I knew Loki. Would you believe a damn cartoon clock?
Yeah, but I would be a little bit hesitant about the cartoon.
I was like, at this point with Loki, that's not the logic for why he was even doing that had been debunked. Mm-hmm. Like, for him, that didn't even make sense anymore. Like, right. He wanted more than that at this point. So no, but Sylvie, actually, for me, even though she didn't believe her with her facial expressions and her acting, I kind of felt like this reminds me of the fact that she hasn't grown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is one of those moments where you kind of look at both of them and say, even though they're the same, they're very different because he has seen his life flash before his eyes. He knows where his life ends up. She has no idea where her life would have been, could have been, should have been. She just a kid running off of what she think it could have been. So she doesn't know or care about what it could be. And I think if Loki wasn't there, she might have took him up. She might have took her up on her offer or his offer because it was an offer that he was presenting through Miss Minutes. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of showed me in that moment that they were a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I've mentioned it before that they're definitely they definitely have similar traits, but they definitely have different outlooks. So like you just said, mainly because, like you said, she hasn't grown up. You know, she hasn't really matured.
And she didn't have a life. She didn't have a life.
Her life has been all about revenge and survival. Versus, you know, and I think it's not even just because Loki had a view of his or a glimpse of his future life or his potential. I think it's also the growth you get over time as you allow life to mold you. She didn't have that. She purely had, let's survive. I gotta survive, and I gotta get back to who did this to me, and that's all she's been focused on. Laser for her 800 plus years.
Right.
You know, so there's no, you know, no other goal in mind other than that.
Yeah, I think if Loki wasn't there, she would have took it. But I can't get over how cute Miss Minutes is. Look at her. I just love her and hate her all at the same time.
Right. So, like you said, they did, you know, regretfully deny or reject the request. You know, Loki, like you said, Loki was offered the ability to have
kill Thanos and get the Infinity Gauntlet.
Exactly. One, Battle New York, kill Thanos, get the Infinity Gauntlet, become king of the universe. And I mean, what was funny to me too, we kind of going back to what we were just talking about, her only offer to Sylvie was wake up with memories of a good life. Like, not even go have a good life, just wake up with memories of a good life, which for her would have been amazing, right? That would have made her happy in that moment, as she had a good life to look back on.
Right.
So I think that they both, you know, well, like you said, Loki definitely he knew it was like that was the past. He was looking forward to the future. This is not what he wanted. He definitely didn't want that anymore because his like you said, his outlook was different now. Where for her, you know, that's all she wants.
Right.
So anyway, they reject her offer. She goes back to Ravonna.
Look at her.
who's looking for files to download. And what was funny is her look on her face when she kind of like what Miss Minutes' face when she kind of
when she gave her that, when she asked her about those papers and she was like, girl, here, take these. And her little eyes squinting. And I'm like,
I can't believe he's doing this for you. You know, that kind of thing. That's what's got me, because I was like, she had a nice little attitude.
She did. She really did.
So
and I love her little file cabinet.
Yeah, everything's so retro, which was dope. That they kept that. They were hard pressed on making sure that thing stuck throughout the
right.
So,
what do you think the coordinates that she gave her were? Like, because Miss Minutes gave her some coordinates and stated that it was from He Who Remains. Mm-hmm. What do you think they were?
So you know, let's come back to that because it'll make more sense at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, because don't forget, everything comes full circle. Everything comes full, because even
literally
during his speech. So
literally
during his monologue. So so we end up seeing Loki and Sylvie move on into the next room. and I think that's where they saw the statues. There was 3 statues.
Yeah, and one was on the floor.
One was on the floor. What did you think that 4th statue could have been?
I was gonna ask you because I don't know. Like, what happened there? What happened? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what could have happened there that would have made that statue fall? Was it a fight? Was that where the final parts of the war took place?
That's what I was wondering. Is thinking like, I wonder if that's had something to do with the final war. Did that have something to do with the the battle for the Citadel? Was there But then I was also kind of thinking like, is that possibly kind of like a sign of who's to come? And not being him not being allowed, or them not wanting him to be there. So I'm thinking that it might be that, as well as it could be, like you said, a battle that happened that we didn't get a chance to see there in this episode. Of course, maybe we get to see it in the future in either another season of Loki, or maybe in a future movie where it'll come full circle and we get to see that battle and have that aha moment. Like,
right.
So the other thing I think was it was just the elevator, right? Them waiting on the
elevator. And then them cutting back to Morbius. And wasn't it like Morbius coming in on Ravonna?
When he showed up through the portal and in Ravonna's office, and she turns around, she sees him, she's like, "Oh, I should have known you were going to survive." And then them having their little exchange, him talking about, I thought we were friends, basically telling her what he was going to do, and then the scene with
B-15.
Yeah, and she told, because she was trying to call the guards, and he's like, that's not going to work, because B-15 was taking the guards off on a little field trip,
right?
To what was it, Franklin Roosevelt High School, to go meet the real Ravonna Renslayer,
right? So, yeah, who was a bureaucrat in her former life.
Yep. So I think that was I thought that was kind of cool, a way to kind of show them, because like I was saying, in the last episode was like, I think where Mobius didn't have the opportunity to see, a future or a past version of himself. He needed time and circumstances to kind of make everything click. So they didn't have that kind of time or circumstances to be able to get the rest of the teams, kind of on board and understand that this is not what it seems,
Right. And Mobius cannot fight.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Like, not at all. He's a lover, not a fighter. Exactly. That's for sure.
That is for sure.
Oh, man.
So I thought that was funny too, because
I was like, damn, man. He's like, go ahead.
Right.
Just go. Right. I'm like, go ahead. I don't think you have a say in anything she does.
No, right. I'm about to say he definitely he definitely didn't do very well stopping her. So
not at all. And she went off to the coordinates, I guess, that the He Who Remains gave her.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know where that is yet. So I guess we'll see later. So we go back to.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We go back to what the castle. I was about to say the Citadel, the Citadel at the end of time.
Right, yeah.
And we
got to see. Sorry, I was just trying to bring up this picture, and little late, I'm trying to pull up all the pictures.
Yeah, that was funny because he was looking dumb, because that's the mean soldier.
Right.
That's the mean guy.
He was ready. He was ready to blast her, because he was the one that did Mobius. So
yeah, I don't like him. I don't like that guy.
Not at all. But yeah, so we finally get to see He Who Remains, and in the, what was that, in the elevator?
Yeah, in the elevator. And that made me so freaking happy, because I had no idea. I had no idea Jonathan Majors was gonna be in that episode. I had no idea he was gonna be in, and it was crazy because he had just took a picture with the I don't know if it was a Kang the Conqueror comic book or a
Mhm.
Marvel comic book or an Ant-Man comic book, but he had just took a picture with the comic book like a week ago
Oh,
and
okay.
put it on his Instagram page, and everybody was saying, just saying stuff, but nobody wasn't saying anything of significance. It was just like, yeah, he gonna be King Conqueror in Quantumania. He gonna be, but nobody had no idea that he was. I feel like he was hinting to us that we was gonna see him sooner than we would have expected.
Right, exactly,
But
exactly. Yeah,
he,
when they opened that elevator door and we got to see him sitting there, like I said, I went nuts. I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like it's him, it's him, it's him. And like you said, I definitely wasn't expecting him. Even when they said "He Who Remains," because "He Who Remains" is actually two different other comic book characters who have a relationship with Kang, but don't have one of them is a version of Kang, but the other one, who normally goes by the name He Who Remains, is actually the last TVA agent. So He Who Remains is essentially this TVA agent who lived forever, made it to the end of the timeline, and basically collapsed the timeline and restructured it on the way back around in order to start this sacred timeline and start the TVA, which is funny because he was also in the TVA. It's full circle thing, right? So he's basically or MCU has basically collapsed those two characters together in order to uh, kind of basically, I guess, kind of firm up the timeline in terms of how it's going to work. But his whole, attitude, his personality, and who he described himself as a version of the scientist in the 3100s. He is actually Nathaniel Richards, Reed Richards' great grandson, from the Fantastic Four. So, which is even more crazy because we have a Fantastic Four movie coming soon, in I think like 3 or 4 years. So
right.
it'd be interesting to see how they play that out, and if they tie in that story arc together and make that a part of the MCU canon. So it's going
Like,
to
I
be
wonder
interesting.
if the Fantastic Four are gonna have to be the ones to take him out or something, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah, that's a big question because I mean we know from the announcements that King the Conqueror is going to appear in uh Quantumania, Ant-Man Quantumania, which I always thought was weird, but
But honestly, who knows if he gonna appear in something else? Because we didn't know if he was gonna appear in this. Nobody
exactly.
ever said anything about it. Nobody. And usually they are very good at saying, oh, they're gonna be in this, 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 this.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah,
think the reason why they didn't say he was gonna be in this is because he is playing the big bad.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying? So he might appear in other stuff. We just might not know because they don't want us to know. But that is what he's confirmed to be in by them.
right, exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's something else. This quirky man with this pink.
So he invites them into the elevator. They get in there and they do the whole, want to kill him thing, and I think that they didn't realize how powerful he was or what he really had going on. He explains it to him later, So um, he's able to bounce around and escape their lunges. And I think he ended up on the chair behind them, and then projected himself out of the room into the main hallway of his office. So yeah, he was definitely ahead of the game.
Right. Because he had his Tim pad on his hand and he said he knew
Yeah, he had it already
everything that was going to
pre-programmed.
happen.
Yeah, he had it already pre-programmed. I thought what was funny to me was when they got to the desk and he pulls out the papers that show everything they were going to say. I'm like, them and those dot matrix printers and everything you're going to say paperwork like crazy. I
That
thought he was going to make them have to
disappears.
sign it.
Right. and pouring them tea. And I'm trying to figure out what the significance of the apple was. Like, maybe I'm like overthinking. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. What it was making me think about was just, we always think of or not we, but some people always think of the apple as like the fruit, from the Adam and Eve story, and saying that that maybe they were saying that's the birth or that's the beginning, and he's talking about being the beginning and the end. So it's I think it was kind of like metaphorical for that he's that start and he's also that ending. So yes, I think it's that never too much to theorize and push through certain things that you see in Marvel shows and movies. So for sure.
Right.
So he's he breaks down for them basically what was going on with the TVA, with his storyline, what happened in terms of the multiversal war. I mean, there's just a lot that he was talking about.
Yeah, he talked about a lot, and what I really noticed about that, which was scaring me while I was watching it, is that Sylvie wasn't listening to anything that man had to say. Loki was actively listening, which I would have been doing too, because I mean, what he's saying is not crazy, but also if he's saying what I think he's saying, we can't kill this man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, exactly. Like even though he's offering to die, he's also letting you know that he can't. At the same time.
like, and he's saying what basically he's telling you, like when Loki asked him, "What are you afraid of?" and he said, "I'm afraid of me."
Right.
Because if y'all think I'm the bad guy, wait till you meet the other versions of me.
Right.
I mean, just think about the different versions of Loki. A kid Loki told Loki that he killed Thor.
Yeah.
Kid Loki said that. Mm-hmm. The other Loki became president. Right. These are like, what you're capable as yourself, right? So Loki listening to him from a place of, I knew what I was trying to do in New York before this all happened to me. And if I would have got what I wanted, who knows what would have happened to people I love, people I don't love, the world as a whole. But there were people or versions of me that was doing worse stuff than I was doing. Mm-hmm. So yes, look at Sylvie. He looking at her like, look at her. I think she's better than me. You know what I'm saying? If he's saying that there are versions of him that are worse than him, I believe him, because there are versions of me that's worse than me, even though I'm a narcissist and I don't want to admit that in this moment. I probably can, because I'm talking to another psychopath narcissist who's able to admit that as well.
Right, exactly. And I think that your point about her not paying attention is valid, because she definitely was all she kept thinking about was, how can I kill you? How can I kill you? Right? He was bouncing all over the place. I mean, I think in this scene right here, he was literally like, just give up. It's not what you think. There's no way you can do this. I know everything that's going to happen. Blah blah blah. He explained to them the fact that this is all this stuff is happening for a reason. He's literally been on this quest to find his replacements, right? And this goes to my one theory earlier in the series, where I was talking about how I felt like there's some reason somebody's after Loki. There's something about Loki that somebody's very interested in. Why would you want him to come into the chambers of the timekeepers? Why would you want to go after all these different Lokis? Why are they just almost randomly, besides our Loki, why are they just randomly getting pulled out of the timeline, that kind of thing? And then why are they always surviving, right? So I felt like there was something there. And it almost turns out to be true, because he's basically like, you know what? I need somebody who's going to not only be able to do this, but have the kind of the peace of mind to know, you know what, it's bigger than me, it's bigger
Right.
than this.
Right.
And
Right.
and Loki was proving that every step of the way.
Right, but also another person to keep the other Loki on the straight and narrow, because let's face it, they're both Lokis.
Yeah, exactly. And they're and even though they're pretty much the same, they're still almost polar opposites, right? Because of the fact that she hasn't grown up and he has, right?
Correct.
And they also have this whole thing where, like you said, they're keeping each other sane, basically, from
Right,
being
and on the
doing
up and
those.
up and
Exactly,
accountable.
exactly.
But
So
I thought it was a good line in that when she basically was trying to go in on him like he was a murderer, he was this, that, and other. He basically was like, grow up. And the line that it is that I really like is, we're all villains here. And I said,
yes,
damn, he
yes,
right.
yes. I love that
Because
line. I
she
loved
wasn't
it.
pruning people. She was killing them agents.
Right, right.
He
I
was
think he
killing
mentioned
them.
that. I think he mentioned that to
Yeah,
her.
he
Like, you're a
did.
murderer. You're literally a murderer.
Right. Like you could have pruned those people, those
Mm-hmm.
agents, and sent them wherever it is that they go when they're pruned, but you were literally stabbing them, killing them. You wanted them to know that, taking somebody out with their own weapon is one thing. That means it could have been a fight. It could have been, no, you stabbed those people to let them know, I'm coming for y'all. I'm mad at y'all. I want y'all actually dead, because I don't even know if pruning is real. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So yeah, so he went through and explained the whole multiversal war. He explained, why this whole thing happened, what happened with the fight between him and all his doppelgangers, and the fact that basically, bottom line, he's been holding the timeline together. Which when I watched it the second, I think I watched it the third time too, and there was, and this, I kept thinking about it, like, how do you basically keep yourself from being yourself, right? That's basically what he had to do. And then he also, from a standpoint of keeping the timeline straight, he was doing that in such a way because of the fact that time is not a linear thing, especially in the MCU. It's a Mobius strip. It's basically like what Tony Stark showed in Endgame, where it kind of wraps around each other, and it's basically like this. So you have this time strip, and that's all of eternity, right? So it never ends, and it never truly begins. So he has to do this for eons, and basically keep the other versions of himself in any, basically any kind of opportunity for any version of himself to show up.
Right.
I think that's why certain timelines are, can be lost, because it's like, okay, yeah, we didn't catch this timeline, no big deal, so long as we watch that timeline and keep it in check or roll it back into the sacred timeline. I think that's how that was probably working. As I just kind of thought about what would happen if this happened or that happened, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, I think it was just a huge undertaking, but that also shows how powerful and focused he is,
Right.
in terms of his goal. It's not about revenge, it's about survival.
Right. Right. And that's why he says it's not personal, it's practical.
It's yes, definitely not personal, definitely practical, because it's all about keeping this universe safe, and by any means necessary, literally by any means necessary.
But I'll
What
give
up, though,
still
Smooth? Appreciate
one
you, bro.
pass, and I'll give her a pass, is because she still has a mind of an adolescence. It's like she's been in jail her whole life. You know what I'm saying? And she stopped where she started, and she just a scared girl running through time, trying to get back to the people that took her from her family. So
Right.
logically, I'm not saying she's not intelligent. I'm not saying she's not smart. I'm not saying she hasn't learned and picked up on things along the way, but she literally has learned and picked up things along the way. And who's to say that conversation just wasn't over her head and she just did really stop listening?
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, that was the thing. I think she, like you said, I think she just literally stopped listening because
Yeah.
she's like, you know what? No, I'm, and Loki, he got it, he figured it out. He was like, and he was still skeptical a little bit, but he still was like, we got to think about this. There's more to this than just us and our revenge and blah 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 blah. And knowing what he knows and understanding what he probably learned either from the TVA or just by doing this whole adventure, he's looking at the big picture.
Right.
Yes, she was definitely
Yeah, she
emotionally
was
immature.
emotionally immature.
Definitely emotionally
And not
immature.
only that, I mean, think about it like this too. Loki has had to fight to save his people at one point. He knows what it feels like to be a part of a decision that might have caused people harm, and it blew up in your face, like his mom, like Asgard being gone as a whole, just being a part of something that affects so many people in such a way. And you thought you was doing what you wanted to do because that's what you wanted to do, but then you turned around and looked at it from the perspective of, oh damn, I wanted to show y'all that I was important, and in the meantime, in between time, I done got my mama killed.
Yeah.
Because of my selfishness and because of what I wanted. My whole mama did.
Right.
And if I would have just stepped back and looked at this from a different perspective, that wouldn't have happened. And not only did me losing my mama affected me, but it affected the whole kingdom. It affected everybody in my land. And now I have to walk around with that burden. And I think even if he didn't want her to kill him because he didn't want the timeline to end, I don't think he wanted her to kill him because if this does happen, this is now your burden that you have to carry because of your own selfishness.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Smooth says, Chevy, you're absolutely right. She wasn't ready mentally to look at that consequence of her actions. She figured, you killed my world, to hell with all worlds.
Pretty much. And it's so crazy. It's so many movies and so many TV shows that we watch, and it's this kind of a, not this magnitude, but it is kind of like that. And it's like, it's crazy that these people who are seeking revenge never get it. Like they never get it. Like
Right.
they never get it. I don't care if you watching American History X or you watching Loki. The people never get it, and it's just a never-ending cycle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that girl, she didn't get it. She didn't get it at all.
No. Yeah, I mean, and for a moment there, I thought she was finally, maybe going to realize that she was, oh no, you good, bro. That she was needed to think through this decision, but then she's like, you know what, I'm not you. And that was heartbreaking, I think, for Loki, for her to totally reject his wanting to, help her through this and them work together. He's like, let's just do this together. Let's figure this out. And she's like, no, I'm not with it. I'm already done. And, I wasn't shocked, but I knew it was heartbreaking for Loki.
I think it was more heartbreaking for herself that after all that time being with him, that she instantly went back on believing that he was trying to help her, and that she instantly just like, oh, you wanted the throne. Even in her face when she was saying it, she didn't believe it. Right. And the fact that she had to stand on that, to be able to stand on the BS that she was trying to complete, it was sad to watch it, because it's like, girl, and it's so funny because you see he who remains in the background, because he admitted at a point that he no longer knew what his fate was going to be, what was going to happen. And it was literally him leaving his fate into Loki's hands. And it's another line that I really liked because wait. It was like, she was like, why aren't you why aren't we seeing this the same way? And then Loki basically was like, because you can't trust and I can't be trusted. And I was just like, damn, he did this to them on purpose. Yeah. And he didn't know what was going to happen, but this was a part of the test. Right. And whether they decided that they were going to kill him together, whether they decided that they were going to go their own separate ways, or whatever was going to happen next, it was going to be based off who they are, really. Not who they pretended to be, not who they became while they were together, who they were before they met each other. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a situation like that, you know how they say you don't know somebody until you make them mad?
Yeah.
They hadn't pushed each other to that point yet. And I think this was the moment where you see that Loki actually has changed, and Sylvie, respectfully so, has not gotten there yet. I can't be mad at her because she, you know, my best friend always tell me that people's feelings are validated whether you agree with what they feel or not. Her feelings are definitely valid. You know, she was like 7, 8, 9, 10 when they deleted her whole timeline.
Right.
Yes, she deserves a life. Yes, she deserves to feel like she has gotten her closure, but at what cost?
Right. Yeah, Smooth said this is all the result of Loki's vanity. He fell in love with himself, and he wasn't ready to do what was what was needed to be done. He's seen her as the best version of himself, and he didn't want to let that go. I pretty much agree with you in that, because of the fact that I think that he did have an opportunity to realize that she was definitely not the best version of himself, and that she was broken, and he knew she was broken. Right, you know, it's that classic, I'm gonna fix you, but he also, you know, he knows that that's really him in a different body and form, and he's seeing a different him, and he's like, you know what, this is and I think that's another reason that he felt like it was the best of him, because he's like, this is so different that she has these, you know, she's able to, you know, have these great plans and plots. She's got the extra powers, you know, she's you know, she's just got this different attitude, you know, she can fight. So, you know, he's like, you know, like you say, he's falling in love, and love makes you blind, for one.
Right.
So makes you, you know, ignore some of the obvious things that are wrong.
Right. But it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, like when you watch like a show like Dexter, right? And he's a psychopath, and love is not something that he's supposed to have, like, for people. And he would meet another serial killer, or meet a girl, or meet whomever, and he would start to fall in love with them, and they would be this bigger version of what he sees of himself, or a better version of what he sees in himself. And then they come to find out that they more crazier than him, and now he got to kill him, or he got to do whatever he got to do. In some seasons he would do what he had to do, but other seasons he wouldn't, because he still cared about them so much. And I think it's just like the signs of like a person who's never been in love and never knowing the red flags to pay attention to that he ran into. Maybe it has something to do with his vanity. Maybe it has something to do with his narcissism. But I also think he was out of practice in love. He don't know. He thinks she amazing because he don't know. He don't.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's definitely out of practice, because I'm sure he hasn't had too much experience as it is. So
no, but
he's too busy loving himself.
Yeah, exactly. So to extend love for the first time to someone else, you're definitely not gonna want to admit their pitfalls, especially when it's a version of yourself, because then you have to admit your own.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But the kiss was a goodbye kiss.
Right. She made sure that I didn't even realize she had swiped that time pad off the
no, that part was like, oh no, that was so
right,
good.
Right.
They did that so good.
Yeah.
And it make you kind of wonder if Mobius, if He Who Remains was lying about not knowing what was going to happen, because he did slide it on the end of that table.
Because he did slide it to the end of the desk. Yeah, but I think he truly didn't know, because, you know, he basically had everything kind of mapped out up to a point. He had his inklings, like you say. He basically set it up because he knew who these people are. You know, he, like you said, he made the comment to them, like, you know, Do you trust him? Do you trust? Do you trust what he's saying? Is he doing this to you? Blah blah blah. So I think that definitely was a setup. That kind of thing. But I think that he was also still unsure how they were going to play it out.
Yeah.
In terms of what was going to be next. But to my point earlier, I think he bought himself some insurance, because Miss Minutes, when she brought that information back, and before Ravonna left Mobius, she was basically saying how he gave her information on
Oh, I see where you. Oh,
he basically gave her coordinates on how to find him.
Oh,
because he's still out there in the timeline, so she's going to meet him, get her answers, but then he may also be able to start re-affecting the timeline to his own advantage.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Smooth, exactly, Smooth. And he told them, "See you soon." And
he sure did.
He meant that both figuratively in terms
literally
of the fact that it's going to be a different version of him, but he also meant it literally, because he's going to also be back.
Yeah, but I did think that fight scene was really great. I think that Sylvie really does care for Loki. We know that Loki really cares for her, because the scene was so beautiful when he was just, I don't want a throne. I don't just stop and think for a minute.
Right.
Let's just stop and think for a minute. And that takes me back to when they first got to the Citadel at the end of time, and she needed to take a minute to think. And he was trying to get her to stop and think. And he just was like, I just want you to be okay. And I'm just like, oh, Loki, that is so nice. She about to chop your head off. That's what I thought it was about to happen. Right. I did not expect her to kiss him. I did not expect her to send him out back into the TVA. But I just kept saying to myself, after he left, what's going to happen to her?
Right.
What's going to be the realization that makes her know that today she fucked up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I mean, I think as soon as she stabbed him, I believe that she actually felt that then at that moment that, is this really the best thing that I did? Right. Was this the right decision? I think she felt that.
But what satisfaction? When I watched the second time, just how he was sitting there and laughing, and
basically taunting her.
What satisfaction do you get out of killing somebody who doesn't even admit that what they did even affected you? I mean, you know what I'm saying? What type of closure is that? What type of, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that even satisfy any need that you needed met.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just killed the guy to kill him because you said you wanted to kill him, and that's what you needed to do. But even in that moment of putting up your knife, you didn't want to kill him. You just felt like, even though he wasn't giving him what it was supposed to give, you would still feel better after you killed him.
Right. So Sunny said that she knew that Sylvie had messed up too. Smooth says he who remains will show his real side in season 2. He will show how he became who he remained. He who remains a real killer. I think
he's a real killer right now. Shit.
Right? Yeah, I think there's going to be two things to that. One, the fact that, like you said, he's definitely. I mean, bottom line, he's a killer. He had to kill to survive. But then I think also too, I think he's going to make a lot of sacrifices too. I think there's going to be something of a sacrifice in that thing where he's going to have, not only because he's had to live for eons, but also he's going to have to sacrifice probably family members, love, just life in general, whatever he thought he was going to be, whatever his goals and his life dreams were supposed to be. I think he's bottom line. I think he's trapped.
I mean, he is. That's why he didn't care about dying. He wanted, either way it went.
He wanted that break.
He wanted freedom. Either way it went, he wanted to be done with it, even if it was just for a little while.
When he told them that he was going to work with them and say, okay, if you guys work together, you could take over. It reminded me of like the genie in the lamp situation. He's basically the genie in the lamp. He's trapped. He's got powers. He's got opportunities, but he's also trapped in this situation.
But
And
who's
the
to
only way
say
to
that's
give it
not
up,
the
the only
penance?
way to get out of it is to give it up to somebody.
Yeah, and who better than Loki's, and
Yeah,
not in a good way. I mean, how can you know what I'm saying? That's torture
yeah,
to tell me that this is hell. He's in hell, and he want them to take the throne. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like, okay, now y'all can rule over hell and decide who lives or dies, what timelines are important, who should be pruned and who should not be pruned. Living a lie, knowing you're living a lie, telling people a lie to keep the world going, and you got to sit in this ivory tower for the rest of your life.
Right,
But
right,
at least y'all got
exactly.
each other.
Exactly.
Can you pull up a picture of like them kissing with him in it, with He Who Remains in it? Because it's funny as hell.
Let me see if I have that. Let me see if I have that. Because yeah, I mean because it's telling, right? It's telling about how that whole thing went down and what he was really basically planning, right?
Right. I mean, he basically, it was very interesting, but it was even more interesting how Sylvie digested it, because it was just sad. I think that was so disappointing because Marvel did a good job of making her seem as if she was just the bee's knees and so amazing. Now, if you guys you think about it, that lady is on the edge of just being messed up. But they built her up. They made her cool. They made her be able to fight. They made her to be able to do all the things that our Loki couldn't do. So it was very disappointing. See, look at that. Look at him.
Yeah, he's back there like giggling.
Oh
He's
my God. Like, what is happening right now? I did not know that was about to happen. Look at him. That made me laugh so much when I saw that, like paying attention to it. But it was very disappointing. I was disappointed in her character because I thought highly of her as well. But
hey ma, that's my mama.
oh hey. One thing that I realized after He Who Remains is killed and everything start going to shit, Loki, they just show Loki. He's sitting there. And at first, the first time I watched it, I was like, damn, he's sad about Sylvie. The second time I watched it,
Right.
I said, wow, this is the first time he knows what it's like to be a failure as a hero.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The look he had on his face was the look after the snap. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the team, you think about like the Avengers, you think about superheroes in general. Most superheroes don't want to be superheroes. The only one really wanted to be a superhero is freaking Captain America.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
So you look at these people who have extraordinary abilities, and they come into these jobs and they have to do these jobs of saving us from things that we have no idea is out here that could literally shatter the universe. And then when they fail, they blame the failure on themselves because they know what hangs in the balance. And I think that was the first time that he really realized what it is to try to even be a hero.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we got to see the her finally get her revenge. Like we saying, I think that it's I think it's crazy because we saw that, she had that regret, but she also finally got her a little bit of closure that she could get. And I think that like I said, the moment for Loki was like, it was heartbreaking because he knew that this was not how he wanted things to go. And then he goes through the TVA to find help and basically try to get them to realize that, everything had went to crap. Everything was just like, you know what? I don't know what else to do. And then Mobius and B-15 are watching the timeline just expand, which I thought was also crazy because it was like, we I think it was like seeing this happen, I thought was just like crazy. Like it just it was blowing my mind because just imagining how many timelines and everything else was expanding and coming out, and all the opportunities for these new variants to be created. I mean, that's thousands of timelines, right? You know, who knows
right,
what that really means
right.
for the MCU. But also, I was about to say, also, he comes in, talks to Mobius, and Mobius doesn't know who he is.
That blew me. I mean, he had a bleeding heart. He was bleeding heart. I felt so, I'm like, yeah, because as soon as he started talking, I'm like, yeah, Loki, tell him everything. Oh, I feel so bad for you. And then when I didn't know who he was, I said, oh my God.
Right. And then he looks out into the middle of the hall.
And then I said, oh my God.
Kang the Conqueror. And I was just like, it's already done. Like that fast. It's just
I was like, oh my God.
You know,
and then it made me realize that in Avengers Endgame, Captain America did do what we said he did. He did just, and they met up with that version of him. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question though. So you know the scene, because the scene before, like after Mobius, I keep saying Mobius, after He Who Remains gets killed, they showed Morbius and B-15 with the timelines. Do you think it had already changed at that point, or do you think they were still the versions of them that we knew?
I think when they were staring at the timelines expanding, I think it was our original versions. But as soon as it went back to them and then they started looking at each other, it was the new version.
That's crazy. That mess was crazy. That blew me.
Yeah.
I just felt so bad for him because he's about to get arrested because she called the people on him.
Yeah. They're about to get ready to prune him.
Yeah, I mean, because they still know what he is. He's a Loki. And I mean, maybe Loki's ain't the threat no more, though. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe this version of Kang the Conqueror is not concerned with Loki's because of what happened that version of him witnessed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it works. I don't know if that version of him, since he's so powerful, he remembers what happened before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know. I think that, I mean, one is interesting that Loki still remembers though the timeline, and like, oh yeah, Smooth just said, you know, I don't think they really know that he's a Loki. So like you said, it's possibly that one, Loki's may not be the issue, but then again, they may not realize it because it's outside of the timeline that they're in now, right?
Right.
You know, it was definitely a great plot twist, definitely. I mean, but it does,
like I was in the Twilight Zone.
You're right. Oh yeah, definitely. And it begs the question, what's next, right?
Right.
But what we did find out what's next based on an interview with Tom Hiddleston is that there's the What If series is MCU canon.
What?
The What If series is MCU canon. It is going to be.
What?
So that means that every story that they're going to show in What If is true to the MCU timeline. It's
but it's because of the this.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So I
didn't even realize that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all those crazy stories that we're about to see, even though they're animated, they're part of the timeline. They said they may even introduce some of those animated versions as real versions in future movies as well. But yeah, so the Guardians of the Multiverse is going to be a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
When does that come out?
Smooth said, I thought she was calling them folks because it was time to go fight the timeline. No, they were already still trying to figure out what was going on in the timelines.
She called them to the library.
She called them to come get Loki because they thought Loki was having a breakdown.
Yeah, because he was though. He was. He was.
Yeah. He definitely was having a breakdown. But when I watched it on the second time, I realized she was calling them specifically for Loki.
Yeah, they was calling.
She said we have a problem on whatever
in the library on,
and then she was telling them to come on and come get them. So
yeah.
They were literally calling the peoples to come get Loki.
Yeah,
I don't think they were going to prune him, but they're definitely going to probably take him for questioning, probably put him in a time cell or inside of one of those stasis chambers that they had B-15 in. So
yeah, because they don't know who he worked for. He don't know his number.
Exactly.
He don't have a number.
Right,
it's a mess.
They think his mind they probably think his mind scrambled or something from the timelines.
Yep.
So yeah, because they were like, "You're an analyst, right?"
And he like, what?
Right.
And I'm like, what? That's what I said. I said, oh no.
So my other question or theory is what happened to Sylvie? Is she still at the Citadel? Does she know what's going on? Is she affected? Is she running things in the Citadel, but not very well?
I mean, does she just disappear? I mean, I'm not saying disappear in the sense of disappear, but where she. I mean, because I thought the building was about to fall down. I thought he started hearing thunder and lightning and stuff. So I thought, when she killed him, that the building was gonna start falling down. So I kept saying to myself, well, she do have a 10 pad, so she can technically go wherever she want to go. But it's different now. You know what I'm saying? It's not the world that she knew. So who knows what she gonna do? I wouldn't be staying there long.
No, not at all. Not at all. Sonny says, I was confused, Chevy. Wait, what just happened? Then they showed old boy statue, and I'm all like, oh my damn.
Exactly. I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, but now everybody keep in mind that statue, as you can see, it's a little bit different costume. This is actually Kang the Conqueror. He is not He Who Remains. It's a separate entity. So this is the one he was definitely talking about, but it's also a completely different person, so to speak. Almost like Sylvie and Loki in terms of how different they are. This version of Nathaniel Richards is a completely different version of Nathaniel Richards. So
it's gonna be a mess. I'm gonna tell you that much.
Like I said, I definitely want to see how they tie in the Fantastic Four. If they will, I'm not sure if they will, but I would think they would because they're using the same names. And then if they will, like you said earlier, if they will be using either Kang, He Who Remains, or some other version of Richards in another TV show, movie, or cartoon. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out as well.
And that make me wonder if Shang-Chi is even in the timeline that we live on.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's going to be the big question. Every movie is going to be like, what timeline is this in? Because, damn.
And not only that, if this is why the externals or internals or what is called
Eternal.
I said.
Not the externals.
Are finally making an appearance because they've been watching all this go down from above high all this time, right?
Right. So so they may be like, hey, you know what? It's time to step in because this is out of control.
This is out of control. Yeah. This is out of control. I'm excited to see how they gonna make all of these. Marvel. Somebody gonna say the other day, Marvel just they just being assholes now. They just got this bag down and they just gonna
exactly just flexing, right? Just flex. So what's crazy is although what's her name? Black Widow's movie was premiered both in the theaters and on Disney Plus, it still made more movie than any other movie this year so far.
Right. Yes, it did. It made as of last weekend, I think it had made 215 million, something like that.
That was the first weekend. The first weekend it was 215 million. I believe it was 90 in the domestic, and then the rest was international. I don't know what the current count is. Black Widow current count is.
Dr. Strange
254 million right now. 254 million. Been out for 12 days, so it hasn't been 2 weeks yet. So we have another weekend. I'm actually considering going to the movies to go see it. A friend of mine wanted to go see it, so I was like, I might go ahead and go check it out.
I mean, it's a good movie. It really is. And everybody that I've talked to has enjoyed it except for a couple of people who are.
I know, yeah. My sister was talking about it was boring, but she watched it for 10 minutes. Like, how did you gather boring in 10 minutes? It wasn't even 4 or 5 minutes of storytelling before it was right to the action. So
right, like literally, I mean, the little girl fell in the first like 1 minute of the movie.
Exactly.
That's action.
It was already on and popping.
It was already. She was crying and falling.
Sunny said she was, for some reason, she was waiting on Doctor Strange to show up. Everybody keeps waiting on Doctor Strange to show up in one of these movies.
That man will be stressed out when he do show up.
Exactly.
Let me just tell you.
He's gonna be super pissed.
Yeah, like when we see him in I mean, because I guess Spider-Man needs a new mentor now that Tony Stark is deceased. But when we see him in Spider-Man, he gonna be like, look, y'all, I'm gonna have to tell y'all about something that y'all really ain't even supposed to know about. These folks been out here tearing up this timeline, okay?
Right.
And everything is everywhere. And I don't even know which way is up and which way is down no more. And I don't know what we gonna do, y'all. Right. I don't know what we gonna do.
I wish I kept this image, but there was a image of what's his name, Doctor Strange, being really upset at Wanda and Loki, like y'all both messing up.
Yeah, Wanda ain't mess up half as bad as Sylvie, because I can't blame that on Loki.
Right. So Smooth. Okay, so Smooth says if that is the plot for the Eternals, then I will have a real issue with that. Like, what took y'all so long? So the one thing to keep in mind, Smooth, is that even the TVA mentioned, I think it was Miss Minutes mentioned, that what happened with Thanos and what happened with the snap and the blip to bring everybody back was supposed to happen. So the Eternals basically stayed back because they also knew that all of that was supposed to happen, and they knew that the Avengers had it under control. So
the elder guys,
we know the Avengers didn't know they had it under control. They knew the Avengers had it under control. So I don't know how they're going to play that into the movie, but that's supposed to be the premise of what happened in the past, is that they basically are hands off until stuff. Actually, they're not even supposed to even get hands on at all ever, because they're not really humans. They're really Titans similar to Thanos. So, but they've taken a liking to humans and mankind, and so some of them live on the planet. They look out for what's going on just from a low level, just trying to stay out of the way. But yeah, basically they're not supposed to be involved.
The elder gods. Elder gods. Combat stuff.
Or they're descendants of elder gods.
Okay.
Yeah, they're descendants of elder gods. So yeah. Sonny saw Black Widows. That's good. Finally, we got Sonny. Did you? Smooth said it was only an okay movie. Really, 3 out of 5. Oh man, Smooth. Man, I thought you liked it, man. I thought it was awesome. I mean, I wouldn't give it more than a 3.5. Maybe a close to 4, but more like a 3.5. It was a good 3.5. But like from a scale of 10, I definitely would have gave it a 7.5, almost an 8, because I thought it was really good just from a standpoint of the action, nonstop action. The acting I thought was pretty good. Especially it was better than I expected. And the only thing I didn't like was they kept trying to force everybody to be sad about their childhood. But I was like, let's stop focusing on that. Let's move on with this movie.
But that was very important to the movie.
Yeah, but I had enough after the second crybaby scene. Like, bro, grow up. Y'all are superheroes. Just keep it moving.
But technically, only one of them was a superhero.
Well, one is a superhero, the other is a super assassin. Grow up.
Right. She literally had just
watched Loki, so I was really like, grow up.
Yelena had just got out that life like 3 days before.
Right.
Like, let her cry about her life.
Exactly. No, I was done. I was like, all right, we get it. You had a bad childhood. We all did. Get over it.
You weren't forced into assassin and then basically like what do you call it? Gave a hysterectomy forcibly without your permission.
I had a vasectomy early, so you be all right. You be all right.
I don't understand. My thing is, I don't understand why. I feel like women's superhero films are graded way more harshly than men's.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And it's unfair.
My sister, that was one of her things. Was like she was disappointed because she felt like there was not enough. It was something she said. Well, one she didn't like the fact there wasn't, and to her it wasn't enough eye candy. There was no beefcake for her to look at, and I'm like, it's a female superhero or a female hero movie. It's not about men. They weren't going to have a man come rescue them, which I was actually impressed. I was very impressed that they did not allow. I know we're spoiling that movie in the middle of the Loki review, but I'm actually impressed that they did not allow the Red Guardian to win that fight. I was like, because I was like, if he would have came through and start taking over and saving the day, I'd have been another man saving the day, But they didn't. They kept it. The women had to take care of everything. I thought that was impressive.
But also to speak to that,
Wonder Woman allowed a man to save her.
What, in Wonder Woman in the movie?
Yeah, in the new DC movies, because it was all about Steve Trevor.
I don't remember now.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I ain't seen that in a while.
Yeah, Smooth. It was focused way too much on the feelings.
But see, that's what I was about to bring up. They're women, guys.
Yeah, true.
We have feelings and we express them. So I mean, if you're going to watch a movie about a female character, then feelings are going to be expressed.
It did that for like 20 minutes, though.
I mean, we knew nothing about her life prior. Can we talk about feelings for 20 minutes?
No, well, see, and that was my thing, is that they talked a lot about her life and their life and what was wrong with all that situation, but they kept going back to just the feeling and not really either a solution or like a better reveal about something else. It was the same regurgitated stuff. It was like, love us because we're your daughters, and they just kept complaining about that. And it's like, bro, we all have a messed up parent or multiple messed up parents. Like, it's life, So I think it was like, I could relate too much. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like my father was never in my life. Boo hoo. Who cares? Like, nobody cares, So I don't know.
I just think it's a little bit different given the circumstances that they had no choice in the situation, and their lives could have been normal lives. Like, they killed people for a living forcefully. Right. I think they get to harp on like their shortcomings over and over again for one movie that we just get to know about them for one time.
So you said it's just like men to fix it and tell us to hush up.
But that be my gripe. Like, you can't go see Captain Marvel and expect her not to have a relationship with her friend and then talk about it and talk about the disgust and disdain that her friend felt when she walked away because she didn't know. Like, that's a part of female resolution. Like, you can't deny us a female resolution. We are not.
No, I had no problem with them trying to resolve the feelings. My problem was they never really pushed past one thing. Like, they just kept harping on this one thing.
Well, what the hell did they have? That was their thing.
Well, yeah, but they mentioned it too many times. I just felt like they mentioned it too many times in the movie. It was like, bro, we get it. You didn't have your parents did you wrong.
They weren't even their parents.
It was like if they would have kept adding to it, I would have been okay with it. I would have been fully fine with it. If they would have kept adding to, like, and at some points they did. It was like a couple of parts, like when they revealed the hysterectomy situation, when they revealed the fact that it was what was it? It was it was literally like, well, we not only were we not your parents, it was only for those couple of years.
Yeah, it was only for 3 years.
Lives, So the little girl really didn't remember because she was just too young,
right? Because I think the reason why I felt like that for us is because this was the first time they were actually even talking about it. So, okay, it happened to us.
Smooth's point is right. It was the fake sister that was that he said was getting on his nerves. That Black Widow was actually on the grow.
Well, that was a coping mechanism, and I actually saw a meme about it. Like they were just talking about all the different women in the MCU and how they literally have had the most shitty lives of all the characters because all the women in the MCU were taken from their homes forcefully to be used as weapons, except for like Okoye. Like, right, and technically she's done that, but she was raised to do that as well. So, I mean, none of the women in the MCU have had control of their lives other than like Pepper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they have been forced to do things that they didn't want to do, either willingly or unwillingly, and either have found out later on.
Actually, even Pepper unwillingly had to become an Iron Man.
I mean, yeah,
Iron Man 3, and then Endgame, she had to put on the suit.
So I mean, like, okay, well, let's say that the only one who didn't was the Wasp. She didn't forcefully have to do it.
The Wasp, yeah, she's the only one that's probably,
the only one who willingly engaged in combat against her own will. And one of the memes is basically like, I guess it's a scene of her and Steve Rogers where he's confronting her about lying, and she instantly just started to do what she was doing in that movie whenever it got rough, and just like, oh, it doesn't mean nothing to me. It didn't. What? I don't care. It's nothing. It's nothing. And I just kept saying, girl, stop saying that, because you wouldn't be here if it was nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now that was what was getting on my nerve. So when she finally just was like, I'm sorry, my little sister, blah, 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 I was like, okay, girl, because finally you getting over yourself. Just admit it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the reason why it was kept being revisited, and it was the same thing being revisited, is because they were just revisiting each other. So
yeah, true that. Maybe on my second watch, I'll feel a little bit better about it. I'll give them a little bit more benefit of the doubt. We'll see how I feel about it when I watch it the second.
You was excited. You ready for fights. I was ready for the feels.
Yeah, I was actually ready for the feels too. Oh, so I don't know why we doing this review right now, but so we just changed this show into the Black Widow recap. Spoiler recap. Sorry, whoever wasn't ready. But so the biggest thing for me was not only that was the revelations of what their lives were like, who their parents, quote unquote parents, really were. One thing I hated was that it still turned out that they still don't know who Black Widow's real parents are. She's on this whole thing of trying to figure out who her parents are, and still don't know who her parents are.
She did. Her mom died.
She knew that the Red Guardian wasn't her real father, and I don't know what the other lady's name is now, but she knew that they weren't her real parents, but she was like hopeful that they would know who her parents are, and that kind of like
I mean, the information they had was depressing.
The who?
The information that they did have was depressing.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it was just like they stole her and killed the mother, and it's like, what the
I'm
heck?
sure if she wouldn't have died, she would have found out who her mom was. And who's to say she didn't? We just don't know because of other gripping things that were happening at the time.
Right.
So we didn't get a glimpse in her life because we didn't know who she was. And
yeah, I was actually, when I was talking to my sister about that, it was like, oh, Sonny says we changed this to whatever we want to spoil show, basically. So, so that was the thing. It was like the conversation I was having with her, because she was like, well, what do I need to know about this before I watch it? And I'm like, well, there's like 4 different movies that she shows up in, but I thought about it. I was like, there's only like 10 minutes of content that you need to know though. And somebody can basically just tell you, because we, like you said, we really didn't know. And then they actually rehashed it in the movie. You literally can take this movie and just go watch it, and you'll be good on Black Widow.
Oh yeah. The only thing they don't talk about is like the fact that she likes the Incredible Hulk. So I mean, that's the only thing they don't talk about.
They're missing. Yep.
I mean, everything else is pretty cut and dry and clear. And I mean, I guess they didn't elaborate on that is because they shot the movie after her character was dead. So they they didn't want to elaborate on anything that couldn't have a future.
Right.
Man, they killed that girl.
Yeah. But the other thing too was like the relationship between the father and the daughter. I thought that was crazy because of the situation where she, you know, all this time we've been trying to figure out what happened in Budapest. So, and it's like now we got that big reveal. So, you know, and then the fights, oh man, the fights were awesome. But then the fact that they had to go save the other Black Widows, because that was shocking to find out. All this time we thought the Black Widow program was over. Turns out it's not. It was like that was crazy.
Right.
Smooth said the action was great. I wish they would have left the other widows or let the other widows have a great fight. So, yeah, I thought that would have been dope too, bro. I was seriously looking forward to them, all of them doing their thing, or even showing, you know, more assassinations and stuff.
They ruthless though. That chemical made them extremely ruthless.
Yeah, indeed.
That opening scene of her like killing that girl and then her spraying that stuff in her face and her realizing that was her friend, that was crazy to me. Like that was crazy. And then the other girl like shooting herself in the head because that was just
right. That was mind blowing. Right, was not expecting that. So
that movie was hardcore. Like until it got to the point where it was family time. That movie was hardcore, man.
Yeah,
like just
indeed.
What it was showing,
but even the family time ended up being hardcore. She brought the pig in there to suffocate the pig.
Oh yeah!
Oh my god! I was like, girl, like this lady is. These people are maniacal, like seriously maniacal. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, she's setting them up. But that twist, I was like, bro.
Oh what a freaking twist! And they brought back the technology that we first experienced with her, and the thank you for your cooperation. Just great. It was just great. It's just a great movie.
It was awesome. That whole thing was awesome. And then by the end of it, you know, we saw the full circle with the jacket. That was cute. That whole thing with the jacket was super cute.
And she got to make amends to the girl she blew up.
And then how she ended up with the Quinjet. I think they need to bring that guy back. He's actually also in The Handmaid's Tale. He plays the husband in The Handmaid's
Tale. Oh yeah, he sure does. He sure does.
So I love seeing him in that. But
I love the scene with the whole you're posing.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. When she did her flip.
Yeah. Oh,
he said they should have let the bro. You know I don't do pig either, but pigs are for pets. Not for killing. You just don't just be killing the poor pig. Pigs make great pets. They make great pets. So, but yes, my slogan: pigs are for pets, not for eating. So, but by the end of the movie, so Endgame, Natasha and Clint had the big fight over the stone, the soul stone. When she fell into that pit, can I tell you, I felt nothing. Like nothing.
You didn't feel nothing?
No, I was just like, dang, that's messed up.
I still felt something.
Yeah, I didn't feel nothing, but only because I felt like she'll be back. You know what I'm saying? I just kept feeling like that, like she'll be back. Oh,
see, I learned my lesson on that. It's the Xena thing. Like ever since Xena, I don't believe that I don't believe they're coming back until you tell me they're coming back because
but I mean, there was going to be a movie though. That was the thing.
It don't matter.
This movie, so I was like, my mind was like, oh, they're just going to figure out another way to bring her back. I wasn't like, and the death scene was not even emotional. It was her and Clint fighting over a stone. I was not.
But see, that man stressed me out. Soon as I saw them, like, why y'all send them? Like, that's what bothered me. I'm like, oh, really? So one of them gonna die? Really? Really? Right. The people we've been watching the longest?
Yeah, really? Exactly. Yeah, they were definitely the OGs.
They had no idea. Like, they set them up. Like, it's a literal meme of them showing Natasha taking notes, getting information about the Soul Stone, not having a clue what had to be sacrificed to get it.
Exactly. So yeah, and that they kind of actually did have a clue. They were told he went there with Gamora and came back alone. Like You know,
I don't think they got it.
Something went wrong.
You know, white privilege. You know, white privilege. They weren't.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't thinking. They thought they could yell at the Red Skull until he gave it to him. You know,
give us the stone, right? It'd be over.
Call the police. Call the
right.
The TVA.
Smooth said he was rooting for Clint the whole time.
I wanted Clint to die. I was like, just kill him. I don't care about him. Kill him.
No, I knew.
But I said, but he ain't gonna die because he got a family. She not gonna let him kill himself. He got a family. Like, and that's why I was like, this is messed up because she don't have no family. And
exactly.
She gonna die. She gonna die.
So that was another reason, I think. But at the end of this movie,
I was balling.
I was tears was like all up in here, eyes was all up. I'm like, this it for real? And they showed her grave. I was done.
When I saw her grave, I was like, oh, so y'all just gonna make it real, huh?
Right. She had no gravestone in the other movie. In this one, she had that grave. I was just like, bro, like they just did my girl like that. Now she my girl. Right, we found out she had a whole family because there was so much emotion in the middle of all that action that I felt it, and then at the end of it, it was overwhelming. You know,
even her apologizing to the girl.
Say it again.
Even her apologizing to the girl.
Yes.
Like that whole part of her, you know, I'm sorry, I'm just so sorry, but then coming to realize that I don't care, girl. Is he gone? Like, is he gone? Right. Just that it's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, that was sad to me too. Like she literally tried to kill you or use you to kill your father. Yeah, she's saving you now, but she literally was trying, and she's like, I don't care. Too. It was my nightmare. She's like, this is my nightmare too. You know, because her, like you said, once again, she was ripped out of her life and forced to do something she didn't really want to do.
Yeah, and who knows what her life was like before?
Exactly. So.
That was.
Don't ask me, bro. I was feeling it then.
No, that was all emotional. They had came together as a family. But nobody died.
Let's talk about the fact that I was right once again at the end. That there was something about that movie that it just had to come after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it was because of our
because of Valentina. Trying to set up some bad blood between two people who shouldn't have no bad blood.
Now I was tripping because I didn't expect that though, that she would, because she never got a chance to tell Elena about Clint and about the fact that they're friends, and about she didn't know what was going to happen in the future, that she was going to have to die in his place. But that was crazy.
As soon as she said the person who killed your sister, I said, oh, she gonna try to kill Hawkeye. And then I said, oh, yep. Wow.
So we will be seeing the new Black Widow in Hawkeye series, which is coming to Disney Plus in October.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. So Hawkeye is coming to Disney Plus in October. The new series is I think it's either 10 episodes or 12 episodes. It's going to go from like the end of October until mid-December. It's going to be.
And then it's going to be time for Spider-Man.
Yes, and just in time to end right when Spider-Man starts. And then after or near the end of December, we're also going to get Miss Marvel, the TV series for Miss Marvel. She's no relation to Captain Marvel. She's like a little girl who is inspired by Captain Marvel and becomes a superhero herself after getting exposed to some kind of we don't know. We'll find out. We're going to find out her origin story at the end of December, but she will be part of the Marvels, which is going to be the new Captain Marvel 2 movie, which is
they started shooting that.
Yeah, right? It's retitled The Marvels, and they did start shooting it. I believe they ran the two things together. They were shooting Miss Marvel, and then they roll right into Captain Marvel 2, and so somehow she's going to play a big part in that as well as other characters such as Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, who will also be in Marvel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's going to be an interesting next few years, catching up on all these. Man, these stories are about to be crazy. Crazy. So
gonna be all crying all the damn time. Me,
right.
just crying all the time. But no, I'm gonna say this. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't believe that they gonna bring nobody back. Xena really traumatized me. It really did. Like, even if you try, they're not gonna come back because it's not gonna work. I'm just traumatized now.
Right. Yeah,
Oh, they did start shooting Aquaman too.
Oh yeah. Aquaman has started shooting. Aquaman 2, technically Aquaman 2. I believe the Flash is either started shooting as well or is getting ready to start shooting.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of good
Adam
movies coming up. Filming Aquaman 2. So the new Flash movie, the new Aquaman movie,
Black Adam
movie has started shooting as well. Yep. So
Shazam.
And Shazam should be wrapping up very soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've been shooting for a while. This is Shazam 2. So, which I believe they're supposed to do a Shazam Black Adam crossover in part 2 of either part 2 of Black Adam or just a whole another movie.
I read something today that they talking about Henry Cavill going to reprise his role as Superman in Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam. That's what I heard too.
I hope so.
We'll see. I'm not sure how that's going to work out because I'm assuming it may just be a cameo. I don't.
His body was in Shazam.
I don't have high hopes for DC, so I don't know.
His body made a cameo in Shazam.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Shazam, but I saw that clip. Yeah.
Oh, Shazam is precious. I love that movie.
Well, that's the one thing. I am looking forward to all of the solo DC movies. I am looking forward to them. I'm hoping Aquaman 2 makes up for Wonder Woman.
Aquaman 1? Oh, my bad.
Aquaman, yeah. Aquaman 1, I thought Aquaman 1 was okay. I thought it was okay. You didn't like it?
Not as much as I liked Wonder Woman.
Nobody liked anything as much as Wonder Woman Part 1. Oh my God. That movie was awesome. That movie blew everything DC had ever made out the water. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean? Everything in the last 5 or 6 years out the water. But yeah, I mean they couldn't even reproduce that magic.
That's crazy that they couldn't. Now, I mean, it was cool, and I mean, I'm partial to James Wan anyway. So I for that alone, bringing in a horror director who's strictly horror, and for him to be able to take that movie and still make it what it needs to be, I think that's great. But I think horror directors do good at superhero movies, to be honest. And I mean, I'm not saying Tim Burton is a horror director, but he is of that genre, and I think they're able to do those movies well, to be honest.
Oh yeah. They know how to put good stories together.
Oh, because Sam Raimi. Hello. Duh.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to a great Spider-Man 3. So yeah, looking forward to that. So
yeah, because he doing Doctor Strange.
Yep,
Doctor Strange. So
which is going to be a horror movie as well. Did you ever see New Mutants?
Yes.
How did you like that?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it was cool. There were cool aspects to it.
Right.
But it was just not great, the movie.
Sonny gave Aquaman 1 2.5 out of 5.
I'm with it. I'm with that.
I'm with that.
That's about right.
Because Wonder Woman was a strong 3.5. Strong 3.5. If not 4, but I would give her a 3.5. I couldn't give it a 4.
I can.
You give it a 4?
Yeah, I can. The movie is amazing. The last time I watched it, I was watching it like I ain't never seen it before. That movie is amazing.
I think only because they put too much emphasis on Steve Trevor. Once again, white man gotta save the day. I'm sorry, not the white man, but you know what I mean. The man gotta save the day.
Chris Pine is fine, you know.
Yeah.
What can you say? He's beautiful eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was smooth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sonny. I looked at that and then I clicked this thinking it was the same person. My bad.
Yeah, no, the New Mutants wasn't hitting for me. It didn't hit for me.
Oh, Smooth said Wonder Woman 1 was a 4.5 for him.
Oh wow.
Okay. I might have to maybe because I've seen it a lot of times.
It's great. The lines, the script, the lines. It's beautifully done. It's beautifully done movie. It's done with love and a representative of it. And I think that's beautiful.
True that. Dang, you gave it a 2. You was being generous because I gave that mug like a 1.5.
Oh no. That's like that's the dumpster. Just put an emoji
She was like,
in the
take
trash.
this movie back.
Just put it that it was disappointing. And it was disappointing that she was so fixated on it's it's always bad when you be disappointed in the character that you like.
Exactly.
Because of their choices, but then you got to think about like their lives and stuff. But still, it's hard watching a character.
Her life did not beget her to act like that.
Right, but that's the thing about being sheltered, right? Like you start to want things that you never wanted, and you become selfish because you were never taught how to not be selfish. What she have to not be selfish for? She was the only kid on the island of grown women. Right, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And they showed that at the beginning when they were showing her cheating. Yeah.
Right. Correct. And so, like, I'm not mad that she did that because rightfully so. I want something for me. I should be happy. Yeah. But it's being that her character was so lovable in the first one, it just bothered me that she was so selfish in the second one.
Yes, definitely. Or just not focused on the real goal, like
right. But you know what, that whole movie is about selfishness. Jeez, and I just put that together.
Oh
that every character in that movie
that's true. The whole movie is about selfishness.
Wow. That might need to be rewatched.
Sunny said she kept falling asleep on Wonder Woman 1, but eventually watched it and gave it a 3 out of 5.
But see, that's how it be when you watch a movie too many times that you can't get into this. The score goes down and down and down.
I think maybe that's why I ended up giving it a 3.5. Maybe that's why I felt that, because I watched it like 5 times. My fiance like absolutely loves that movie. I think my kids loved it. Everybody wanted to watch it, so I kept having to watch it. I think that's kind of what happened to me with Endgame too. I enjoyed Endgame, I really did, but I still felt like it was not the epic movie I wanted it to be. Maybe because I watched it 16 times. I don't know.
I was almost compelled to rewatch Endgame and Infinity War after watching Black Widow, but I still cannot bring myself to watch either one of those. I've literally only seen them once.
I saw it like 2 or 3 times. I loved Endgame. Loved it.
I don't know if I can do it because now it's been too long. So now I'm really gonna be watching it like with fresh eyes because I've only seen them once. Because we were watching Hunger Games this week.
Oh, okay.
And I rewatched Hunger Games. That is a good ass movie. First of all, the first Hunger Games is really damn good. But second of all, I forgot the whole damn movie because I only seen it once. So I was watching it like I never seen it before. And I definitely don't think I'll ever go back to Endgame or Infinity War for that reason. Because I am not.
It was traumatizing for you watching Endgame.
Yes, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Yeah. Both of them were traumatizing.
Yeah. Smooth. Same for me. He said Endgame was a letdown because his expectations were too high. Same here. I mean, I wasn't a letdown, but it was definitely not what I wanted. It was I wanted to feel like I felt in Infinity War, like constantly like, oh my God. And I only got that a couple of times in Endgame.
I didn't want to feel like that. So I was kind of happy that it kind of was chilling. But nope. I didn't like the infighting. But when I think about it now, they had never made up from Civil War for real. So that was kind of always a thing. And I didn't really think about that until I was watching Black Widow. Like they went into that on the outs. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like they had never
reconciled ever. Yeah.
They never made up.
Sunny gave Endgame 5 out of 5.
I mean, it's a 5 out of 5. Yeah. Infinity War is a 5 out of 5. They're both
Infinity War is a strong 5.5 out of 5.
I mean, the only reason why I would give Endgame less is because my favorite Avenger is dead.
Right. Yeah. I would say Endgame for me would have been like a 4.5, something like that.
And Natasha is dead. I would say that she was dead because I'm a woman, and she was the first woman that
But the death of Tony Stark was so epic. It was just like, man.
Epic,
like he ended how he started. Like I
can't talk about this.
To this day, I still get tingles thinking about that scene and the Avengers Assemble scene with Captain America getting the Mjolnir. Oh my God, both of those. I still get excited thinking about those those scenes, because they just, man, they never get old ever.
Well, I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
Oh yeah, Sonny. Yeah, that On Your Left. That right there. That was. I mean, I'm getting a tingle right now thinking about On Your Left.
I mean, that was great. The Mordor Mew Mew scene, that was good. Scarlet Witch almost beating Thanos.
All the women together coming at Thanos. Oh,
I mean, Captain Marvel literally blowing through a whole like.
Yes.
That was crazy.
Where was she at during before the snap?
I want to know that too, and I hope
the Eternals. Where all these people were at.
Oh, she's gonna have to atone for her sins.
Where was Blade's ass at when we was fighting Thanos in the middle of the field?
Yeah, because Captain Marvel, she got some explaining to do. Because Rambo, she want to know. Monica wants to know. She has some issues with her that needs to be dealt with. I mean, at least that's what I gather from Wanda.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely gather that. Yes. Oh, that's for real. Yeah, that's for real.
Yeah, they got some issues because she kind of just like left and pulled a Green Lantern and went on like, I just watched that. So she did. She went to police the spaces and forgot about home again. The second time around.
But I mean, to her defense, I mean, she's an intergalactic superhero. There's already 50 million superheroes on Earth. Why does she need to be back there?
That's true too.
Yeah,
that's true too. But your family don't get that.
Yeah,
they just want you to come to their birthday party and blow.
Yeah, true that. Like do us this solid and show up.
I mean, you literally can fly really fast. Like, how long does it actually take you to get here?
Right. Like we literally like around the corner, right? I mean,
you zooped in when Fury sent you a message. You couldn't zoop in for my damn birthday.
Right.
That's literally what their conversation gonna be.
Yeah. or before I died. Like, how about that? How about just before I died?
Right.
Come help me out.
Like where your ass was at.
Right, exactly. Come save me. Come save all of us.
You know? Right.
So yeah. So any other thing we want to spoil before we get out of here?
No.
All right, we're gonna be good. So I guess we already did the Black Widow review. So.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's done.
I don't think it's not much more we can talk about on that movie. No. But we will have What If. You want to come back for What If? We're gonna do this again.
Yes.
All right. What If starts in 3 weeks, I believe it is August 11th.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can do it. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, August 11th. 1, 2, 3. It starts 3 weeks from now. We'll start August 18th doing reviews.
Okay.
Of What If. So the Stylez and Shevy recap will be taking a little hiatus while we wait for What If to get started. And I don't think there's anything else coming up before that. If it is, we can definitely get together and make it happen. But until then, let the people know where they can find you at.
You can find me as Chevy the Superstar on Twitch, S the Superstar on all other platforms such as Twitter and Instagram. I am also Chevy the Superstar on TikTok. Tomorrow night, we will be going live talking about the wonderful movie, The Hunger Games. We're still talking about blockbuster films, and we will also be releasing how you can enter to win the blockbuster prize pack.
Oh, blockbuster prize pack. Looking forward to that.
Yes, it is going to be. It is a some Lord of the Rings socks, a Zool pin from Ghostbusters, print of the Avengers with the Infinity Stones on there, and a Funko Soda exclusive, sold out, WonderCon exclusive Funko Soda from Black Widow with a chance for a chase.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's dope. Well, make sure y'all go over to Chevy the Superstar over on Twitch and check that out.
Yes.
You guys can catch me tomorrow after Chevy's show at 10 p.m. here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch doing the Stylez Radio Takeover. And don't forget, on Friday, Sunny will be here doing the Sex with Sunny live show and she will also be doing a giveaway. So make sure you guys look out for the promo on that. That should be released either tonight or early tomorrow morning. There's going to be a toy giveaway, not the kind that Chevy's talking about. So look out for that. It's going to be an awesome giveaway. Sunny is going to be talking about something. I can't think of what it is at the moment, but she's going to have a great topic for us to discuss. And actually, I got to find out if I want to be on or not, because I have a kids party to do that day. But we'll definitely be getting that show off the ground. And then, as always, you know, we got plenty of content here. So all throughout the week. So next week we have our Monday show at 10 p.m. Hymp has his How to Hustle podcast with Hymp at Tuesday at 2 p.m. We won't have Stylez and Shevy recap next week, but we will have we will have the fans' perspective next week on Thursday at 10 p.m. and go from there. So definitely make sure you guys check us all out. And it's your boy Willie Stylez in the building. Get at me at Willie Stylez everywhere on IG, Twitter, and on TikTok. I'm Willie.Stylez on Snapchat. Get at me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to. Those will also be the hot tracks I'll be playing tomorrow. Or check out williestyles.info for all my links. That's the show. Thanks again for everybody tuning in. And make sure you guys stay safe out there, because he who remains is still watching.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D, 1/3 of the podcast GFT Radio Show.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Stylez from the GFT Radio Show. Just letting you know you can catch us every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And to get some merch, I got some on right now. Go to teesprings.com/stores/GFT Radio.
Grown Folk Talk Radio. Join the conversation. Let's have some fun. Holla.